So I thought when we're done with our rest, as I speak Goblin, I could present the heads I collected as hopefully passage through.
You collected some heads?
Yes, from the victims of the spiders.
Cool, cool. Great. So glad you did that. All right. Sounds good. I'm gonna go and just kind of like stand and stare at the pile of skulls for a little while and then not sit close to it.
Very nice. Well, you sit and stare at a pile of skulls. Would you like to make a perception check?
I would love to. 19?
All right. There is a point in your long rest watch where you hear a skittering sound. It reminds you of the sound of rats, but they seem to be significantly larger than what you would picture them to
Ooh,
be. They seem to be a fair ways away down another hallway, maybe a small pack moving through.
okay. I'll just hope that when they turn the corner and see my collection of skulls, they'll be frightened away.
By the sounds of it, they kind of move away from the area with the spider webs. You would guess that these spiders have probably lived here for several generations and have been an area to be avoided for some time.
Hmm.
So, since you have slaughtered an entire family line, there's no more an issue for you, but they are as of yet unaware beyond the crispy spiders out at the end. Your watch is fairly peaceful beyond the occasional skittering noise somewhere down the hallway.
But they're not coming closer.
They don't seem to be.
Great. I don't want them to come any closer.
Right? At the end of your watch, are you waking up someone else?
Yeah, I'll wake up. What if I just woke up Jebediah? I'm not going to do that.
I mean, you could.
But what if I did?
How
Is
does one.
Jebediah asleep when I go over there?
Have you ever seen an octopus sleeping?
I have not, but
You do notice there is a little rain cloud above him, raining
oh,
into the bucket.
that's so cute.
He's very happily damp, whether he is awake or asleep right now. It's a little hard to tell. You're not sure if he entirely closes
Right.
his eyes or if that's a second set of eyelids that happens.
I'll wake up Natara's.
Yeah.
Shh, Jeb's sleeping, but it's your watch.
Okay. I'm gonna pick up Jeb and the bucket and go and sit down
All
near
right.
the pile of skulls that I
Yeah.
have no idea where they've come from.
Yeah, you do see this large, strange
Oh,
pile
yeah.
of skulls out there. It's kind of
I
beginning
say
to look
nothing about the
pyramid.
skulls.
Excellent. You and Jebediah puzzle over these skulls for a few minutes. Anything else you would like to do? And you can make a perception check.
I'm going to pop Jebediah over the alarm spell
Just. All right.
and because he is now my familiar, ask him to just go across, to stealthily go that way and sneak down, and I can look through his eyes.
Very nice. It is a strange sight that unfortunately is enjoyed by no one else as the octopus picks up his own bucket and moves through the hallway. But you can see that the hallway continues further down, seemingly coming into a large room full of more dead spiders. What appears to be kind of splatters of what may have once been humanoids of some variety before they became enwebbed and then burnt, and it's just kind of a hot mess in here. You can see a hallway that extends slightly further down, and just at the corner, Jebediah would be able to see that there is both a small bedroom of sorts down below him that he can just see into little broken chairs, kind of a broken bed frame further in there. Maybe a dead burnt spider. And just around the corner, he can see sleeping and snoring rather loudly. Two goblins, one significantly larger than the other, kind of just curled up together in a corner amidst a large pile of skulls.
Gonna get him to come back to me, and then he can tell me everything he saw. Okay.
Jebediah would have been included in the friendlies for the alarm.
Fair enough. So you don't have to pitch him over the
Would you
top.
have thought that though?
Thank you.
Would you have thought that he was going to go walking over the line and to include him?
I mean,
That's
probably.
All right.
I think I probably would. I'm pretty intelligent.
Well, as you return, your friends are still sleeping peacefully, and your watch nears to an end.
I'm gonna get out my miner's stove and my cooking utensils and cook up some chef special food.
Okay.
Oh wait, no, it'd be cook's treats because it's as per when you finish a long rest.
All right. Your compatriots wake up to the delicious smell of whatever it is that you've chosen to.
Ooh.
It is. Let me look at my food.
I know we used a large amount of salmon recently.
We did, and I lost my barrel of beer, and I'm very sad about the loss of the barrel of beer, but happy because I have Jebediah. I'm going to use some fine rations and ask Kuro for some of the, and take some of the 15 loaves of bread out of Kuro's bag.
I will deliver the chilled bread and the bag of colding.
Amazing.
And do a very indulgent, say indulgent, salted beef,
Salted
corned
beef
beef,
sandwiches.
and foie gras fried sandwiches.
Oh my.
That sounds pretty decent for dungeon fare, right?
Yeah, that is. It is a heavy breakfast, but it is pretty good. It is pretty delicious.
And I will give each of you a cook's treat. So we can eat it. We gain 3 temporary hit points, and it lasts 8 hours.
Ooh.
I'm bugbear. I'm eating it.
I'll just eat it.
Fair enough. Well, with your 3 temporary hit points, you can see that all the smoldering around you has went out. There are no major fires seemingly set to any particular areas anymore. Everything appears to have gone out on its own. So the hallways themselves are fairly clear, a little bit cleaner than they probably have been in a few years.
Thank you for the really quite delicious breakfast. I don't know whether Kura told you in the night, but I overheard the goblins talking about collecting skulls for someone or something. So I gathered these, and maybe we can avoid a fight by trading them for passage.
Well, I sent Jebediah on a little mission last night while you were sleeping, and there is a corridor and a room and a bedroom and 2 sleeping goblins about 100 feet down the corridor.
Interesting. Does that change anything?
No, but we know where they are now.
How,
You didn't see those spiders that ran off?
No, there was some dead spiders, and there was what looked like a broken bedroom.
Dead spiders is good.
But I didn't see any live spiders, or Jebediah didn't. He'd have told me if he did.
Can he talk to spiders? I don't know why I assume that all animals would just be able to talk to each other, not have different languages like we do. but that's what I assume.
Talk to animals is one spell, right?
It is.
Yeah. So all animals do speak the same language.
Animal common.
Yeah.
I think it might be closer to a comprehend languages, but for animals.
Oh.
Do you wish me to go and see if I can talk our way through, or I feel no particular attachment to my distant kin. I do not mind if we fight them. It
Well,
may be worth saving our efforts.
talking has done us pretty well so far. Doesn't hurt to start with it.
Well then, and I will gather my skulls, and I will. If everyone ready?
After you?
Where am I? There. My alarm would have dropped as well after the rest. I'm going to walk to about here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say in Goblin, excuse me, friends. I bring gifts.
Would you like to make a persuasion roll?
That's a 6.
You hear the deeper voiced one on the other side say, "Hey, friend, I mean, at least you're talking goblin. That's a start."
I'm a bugbear. Of course, I am speaking our native tongue. I overheard that you were looking for skulls, and I've bought some. Hopefully, for some trade for some information.
Possibly. Are you with the guild or with the bazaar?
Do either of those things mean anything to me?
You can make a history check if you want. Kuro, if he's translating for you, you could also make a history check but with advantage because one of these you
I
do
also
know of.
speak Goblin,
Awesome.
but
There we go.
it's a secret.
Don't tell anyone.
13.
History with advantage.
Mhm.
All right, we're just going to ignore that one because the advantage has to be better than that.
Has to.
13.
All right, solid on both sides. You both are aware that the guilds that you can think of in Waterdeep, the ones that would match a goblin situation, them thinking that a bugbear might be part of, would include the Xanathar Guild, a notorious thieves guild that exists in the sewers of Waterdeep, which you all are pretty on the level with right now, and you actually just exited kind of a sewerish area earlier. You know that his symbol is a circle with 9 spokes around it. And you know that the bazaar, Kuro, you specifically know that the bazaar is kind of an offshoot group of goblins that basically have decided to not go with the Xanathar guild side of things and to create their own marketplace deep within the sewers.
Okay. And do these guys look more like they belong to one than the other?
By the descriptions that you've been given, as you all haven't really come around the corner yet, they seem like possibly freelancers. There's no guild symbology that you've seen directly on them as of yet.
They're asking whether we're with the guild or the market. I suggest we just tell the truth and say we are adventurers and owe allegiance to neither. Unless, of course, either of you do owe allegiance to either. I do not know.
I do not.
No.
Kuro's hanging back for all of this. She's letting them take care of it.
Just
I'll,
whispering up ahead.
Yep.
I'll say back to them in Goblin. We are independent adventurers. We owe no allegiance.
With that, the larger of the two steps around the corner, kind of just leveling, not threateningly, but holding at defense a crossbow, large, heavy. And behind him, you see a smaller one kind of sneak around the corner, holding a little tiny hand crossbow, poking its head around. They seem to spot the few skulls that you've kind of put towards the front, just a little bit ahead of yourselves. Have a quick whispered conversation, which you just make out something along the lines of, "That's a lot of skulls." And they say,
So, sorry, go on.
"Go ahead."
I was going to say. So, these I've bought for trade.
Oh, well, yeah, we can trade skulls. That's it's a lot easier to get them than the way we usually do. How
Well,
many you got?
I have 6 here, but we are hopefully delving deeper into the dungeons, and on our way back, we could bring you more if the information you provide proves useful.
Go ahead and make a persuasion check with advantage.
That's a dirty 20.
So you're saying all we got to do is tell you some stuff, and you'll just keep like bringing us skulls if you come back up?
Yeah, it will be no. I'm sure we will fight many creatures along the way, and I have no need for the skulls. So if they can be of benefit to my kin, then of course.
We're just we're looking to kind of make a living here, so that's it's a very promising offer. Do you have any idea how deep you're going? How many skulls you're gonna bring back? How long it is?
Well, we will be adventuring quite deep into the mines, into the dungeon if we have our way. So I many tens of skulls. I would maybe even over 100.
You see a certain level of that you've seen in your smaller kin before. The instantaneous face of like excited greed, almost, but just more like easy pickings.
Yeah.
They both nod. Yeah, okay, okay. Well, what do you need to know? We know a fair amount about down here.
Do you by any chance speak common? My friend here doesn't speak goblin. Maybe easier for us to sit and maybe share some food, and I will give you the skulls and we can discuss information in our arrangement.
They both move into the center room. The smaller one of the two says, Bibble doesn't speak common, but I can tell him about it later. It's fine. He's just the muscle. I'm the brains here.
Ah, of course, I thought as much. Well, my friends, would you meet? This is Pibble, and your name was
Groin.
Groin. Name of distinction. This is Nentaris and Kuro, and I am Nurgin. I've Nentaris. We've agreed that I will provide the skulls, and if we pass back up this way, we will bring them some skulls, and in exchange, we'll sit down and they will share some information with us about what lies beyond, and take it from there. And let me not forget, my friends. Here, have your skulls, and I will pass the 6 skulls over.
Right. They start attaching them through the eye holes to this long sort of rope that they have that they're carrying a dozen or so skulls on of just all different varieties. They get them all on there and say, okay, well, nearest to you right now, we haven't adventured very far down into here. We'll usually level up, but recently we found a weird secret passage, so we just came down here. Up above us to the north, there's a real cold room. Nothing in it, but it's cold, like real cold. Down below us,
Interesting.
some bedrooms. There's you gotta watch out for the rust monsters in the next room, and down the hallway. Or if you go down the hallway and then to the north, you gotta watch out for the drow. He's a tough guy. Told us to get lost.
Well, so this is fantastic information, my friend. Rust monsters just below us, yes, and drow along the corridor to the north.
Drow, one corridor down to the north.
Bound.
Cold room, first room to the north. Rust monsters directly to the east.
Very useful information. Definitely worth the addition to your fine collection. Any other? Oh, we have cleared the spiders as well. Sorry if the remnants caused you any issues.
Not too bad. They were mostly curled up and crispy by the time they got down here. Cleared out a lot of rooms. So we'll actually probably head back up that way if it's safe now. We got stuck down here whenever they webbed everything up.
Well, perfectly clear for you now. Then Tara Skuro, any questions for our friends?
No, fine. I think we've got a lot of good information here.
Yeah, I would say we've got what we needed.
Fair trade, I feel. Well, Groin and Pibble, if we do pass this way on our way up, we will be sure to drop off as many skulls as we can collect and comfortably carry, you understand? If we don't see you, what we'll do, and we do come this way, we'll leave them in the room where the spiders were for you.
Okay, yeah, we can come back down and collect them from there. That's safe enough.
Well, it has been a pleasure, and if you have nothing else to pass on, we will be on our way.
I know, be careful down here. There's lots of crazies.
Yes, we have heard.
Yeah, well, enjoy the bazaar, get yourself some nice things. All right. He wanders out with Pibble following slowly behind him, speaking in Goblin, which some of you understand, saying, "What did they say? I don't understand. What's happening?"
Well, that seemed to go rather well. Rust monsters.
Yes.
I'm assuming I've heard of rust monsters.
You think so? Yeah, you've got a pretty basic knowledge, and the name implies a lot.
Probably magic rather than weapons, just to be safe. And do we want to be dealing with a drow?
Yes.
Well, if it's just the one, that might not be.
Fine.
Where are we going?
Someone else wrote down all those directions, right? Because my eyes just kind of glazed over with all the north and the west and the up, and then there's a cold room. That one's up. I remember that.
Yes, cold room is up.
I'm a little curious about the cold room.
Indeed, I am too.
Yes.
The east was the rust monsters, south and then along with the drow, I believe.
Just tell me where to go. I've stopped paying attention again.
Well, are we going to deal with the rust monsters first?
Do we have to? It might be best to avoid the monsters where we can, so we don't
Where's
end up
the most
with a bunch of
loot?
spiders and no spells.
Where's the most loot going to be? Like, rust monsters and loot don't really go together. They probably eat it.
That is
Cold
true.
rooms and drow, probably loot.
I mean, I believe that if we go along this corridor and north, that is where the drow is. Does that fit with what they said? I think so.
Along that corridor, and it is the second north. But the current north that you're looking at, you can already feel the
Second
cold.
north.
Second north, from going east, north again. The one that you're currently standing at that goes upwards has a significant cold draft coming from it, so you can make the assumption that's probably the cold room that was spoke of.
Two.
We'll go peek at it. Take a look and come back.
Do we want to do this ourselves, or do we want to send Jebediah up to have a look?
If he doesn't mind.
Jebediah, do you mind? No, he doesn't mind.
Sure. Send him along.
All right. Well, the octopus makes his way down towards the room. You can see that there is a shut door ahead of him, but you can see a cold mist coming out from underneath at the bottom of the door.
How big is the gap at the bottom of the door?
About an inch to 2 inches.
You're thinking what? The same thing I'm thinking.
Yep. I'm gonna wait. Distance. Jebediah to me. Yep, just in range. I'm gonna telepathically ask Jebediah to hold his breath and to just poke his head under the door
Okay.
because his beak should fit and therefore he should fit.
Okay. There is a large, in the literal sense, cold storage room that he is looking into. There are empty stone shelves with little bits of frost clinging to the side of them. Specifically on the walls, which are about 10 feet high, you can see that there is, at the kind of top of the ceiling, a rune of some sort glowing with a faint light blue light. And you can see it seems kind of like all the cold is emanating from that rune in the middle of the room.
Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I'm going to pop Jebediah away and then resummon him in front of me to save him walking back.
Okay. As
But
Jebediah,
does his bucket come too
the bucket
when
is
you
now a part of
unsummon him
Jebediah.
and resummon him?
You just pick it up along your way as you grab the bucket, put it back in it.
Yeah. It's a cold room with a rune in the top that's emitting cold.
There's nothing else. It's just cold. What's the point
Well,
of that?
it's where you store things.
The same, it's your bag of colding, but on a more permanent scale.
So is there food in there?
He didn't have a proper look, just in case he set a trap off.
Oh,
I believe
I
the
didn't.
goblin said there was nothing in there.
But they're goblins.
So
Well, they're too short to see what's on the top shelves.
that is true.
And who traps a cold storage? And if they do, that means there's something really good in there, right?
Yes.
We can
I
go
think
and
we'd
have
be remiss in not investigating it.
a look. Fine.
And if it's empty, then it's a quick search. And if it's not empty, then we find something.
Your logic is sound.
So as you all make your
Oh,
way
look.
up there, there's a wooden door set into the stone wall.
Shall I investigate it?
Probably a wise move. I'll move out the way for you. And I pick up Jebediah's bucket.
Just
That is a 25.
very nice. This door is definitely not trapped. It's trapped. It's oil. Its hinges have been recently oiled. You can see there's even little remnants of leftover oil in it, so somebody's been taking care of it. The door itself looks like a fairly new replacement. It doesn't look to be locked in any way.
It doesn't seem to be trapped or locked, but there is it seems to be newly replaced, and it has been hinges oiled recently.
Someone has an interest in this room for one reason or another.
I I would cast detect magic, but I feel like it's probably a bit of a waste.
I would say it's a bit of a waste. I say we open the door and find out.
Fine. I will do so. I will open the door.
Okay. There's a very quick blast of cold air that comes across you. It feels like the temperature in the room ahead of you is roughly 0 degrees Fahrenheit. So, very, very cold, very chilly. I know you don't do Fahrenheit, Rob. I can't translate it for you. I'm sorry.
Thanks, Katie. I appreciate you having an American for me.
I just don't understand the other one mainly. But
Minus 17 degrees, Rob.
Oh, very
thank
cold.
you. I'm glad we have two, just two different ones to go through at least. But in here you can see little bits of frost on all of the stone shelves in here. There's nothing currently in here, but you can see that the shelves are very clean, like they've recently been wiped down. The dust is not on the floor in here. It looks as though it's been swept or mopped in some fashion.
I have
Interesting.
a passive perception of 17 and a passive investigation of 18. Does anything strike me apart from that?
What languages do you speak?
Common, Elvish, and Goblin.
Okay. There's an unfamiliar language inscribed on the different shelves that you're not quite able to make out what it's supposed to be. Looks like it might be Dwarvish, if you had to guess.
The shelves are labelled. I cannot understand the language. Let me check. Can
I look at him just in case. You said it was probably Dwarvish, so that means it's probably Dwarvish, so never mind.
It looks to be Dwarvish, yes.
It's like,
I'll
but what
go-
if it's Thieves' Can't? But you just said it's probably Dwarvish.
If you want to make a look around for Thieves' Cant while you're hanging out in the hallway, you're more than welcome to.
Sure.
There are 2 different active thievery type guilds down here, so the possibility is high.
I'm going to cast Comprehend Languages.
Okay. Looking at this shelving, you can see that one half of the room appears to be what would have stored maybe food for a house, a mansion, some sort of a large place with quite a few people. Shelves for cheese, other types of dairy, meats, vegetables, anything that you might want to keep cold. The other side of the shelves appear to have been for storage of alchemical ingredients. You can see some of them are labeled as volatile, extremely volatile, etc.
I'm going to cast See Invisibility.
Okay. There are 3 bottles, or the outlines of them, that you can see with that on, setting on the alchemical shelf labeled extremely volatile.
On that shelf, right, on that shelf right there, 3 bottles.
This one?
Nantaris,
I've cast See Invisibility.
Oh, okay.
the one that
This
he,
shelf?
the one
This
that he,
shelf?
the one
I
that
will
he
point
points
to it.
at, you can read on it. It says extremely volatile.
It says extremely volatile.
That sounds like fun. Are the can I go over and see if the bottles are labelled?
Sure. Giving them a look. Yep, they sure are, but not in a language you speak.
I'm going to. Does anybody have quill and parchment?
Yes.
I will take that and I will copy the labels down.
Okay.
Show it to Taurus.
The piece of paper that he hands you in Dwarvish says, Miner's Friend, Bad Batch 687.
It says Miner's Friend, Bad Batch 687.
It is the same for all 3 bottles.
They are different years, but yes, otherwise.
I mean, well, we can take them and see what they might do at desperate times, or
Can you take the lid off of one?
man. Is that wise?
I want to have a smell.
I will take one, hold it at my considerable arm's length,
Mhm.
and are they corked? Are they, how do they sit?
They have this kind of blown glass stopper at the top of them. You get the feeling that you could pull it out okay, but if this bottle were to tip over or that glass orb were to smash in some way, the contents would disperse rather quickly.
Okay. I mean, if you're sure, and I will open it for like a second and then close it.
Okay. Would you like to make a perception check, Nintaris? You could also make an, if you have any alchemical related skills you feel would apply.
No, cooking doesn't count.
I mean, it could have some cooking-esque ingredients in it. The two do mix occasionally.
That's a natural 20 for a
Let's
24
go.
Okay.
for perception.
Giving this a quick whiff, you're getting hints of brimstone, some sort of accelerant. You think it's maybe dwarven whiskey by the smell of it. A couple of other just odds and ends and smells. To you, it smells like somebody maybe threw an alchemist's fire and a few other fire type potions into the same bottle and just kind of swirled it around a bit, decided that was good enough, and you get the feeling that if this were tossed at something, there's a high likelihood it could melt through stone.
We just keep finding free grenades in here.
I think we've found a way of dealing with the rust monsters. Put
Oh,
it this way, if you throw it, it'll
minus
probably melt through stone.
minus friend. That makes sense.
I was thinking about daring you to drink it, but I'm glad I didn't now. I was going to offer you 5 gold to do it.
It kind of smells, you know the alchemist's fire that we've got? It
Mhm.
kind of smells like that, but like they've put other stuff in it and then just swirled it around a bit and gone, that'll do, and put it on a shelf.
That's my kind of alchemy.
Well, one each or
I have all the explosives we found earlier if someone else wants to hold on to this one.
Well, I've got a bag of holding I can put it in if you don't know again. Saves from being jostled about.
does it?
I'm assuming so. My barrels haven't leaked.
Very well. I'll keep hold of one just so it's handy.
Makes sense.
I'm going to wrap my one very carefully in some. What do I have on me? I'm going to take some of my a spare like cloak or something out of my bag and wrap it quite tightly in it and then put it in the middle of my bag.
All right. Try to nest it in there as carefully as possible.
Yes.
I put mine in a bag of holding.
I mean, as far as you know, it's fine. You don't see any smoke coming out of it, so.
It's either that or I get Jebediah to hold them, and I don't really want to risk Jebediah burning, and I don't have the incense to bring it back.
Having an octopus carrying 8 different grenades and lobbing them into combat is definitely fun.
No, you see.
Funny at the very least.
Yeah.
So I get him to sneak in holding it, and to throw it, and then
And
I
summon
can
him back.
bamf him away, and he's fine.
It's totally
Okay.
fine.
Now he just needs boots of spider walking, and we can get him to carry it onto the ceiling and just bomb the rooms for us.
Nice. Before we leave, I'm just going to have another quick search around. Now I can see invisibility and make sure I haven't missed anything.
You can give a look underneath all the shelves and everything. Can you gotta make me a perception check since you're checking in between stuff too?
Now that I can comprehend languages, I'm going to see if there's anything that doesn't make sense. Like if there's any kind of labels that look like, alchemy in the food section or that kind of thing. Something that looks notably odd.
Okay. With your perception check of 12, you don't see anything apparent. There's a few clustered bits of something in the corner of the room. When you go to look at it, it appears to be maybe a bag of candy that had gotten left in here. You can see that it has swelled and kind of exploded in the cold, almost like that freeze-dried candy you get at festivals. And it's just kind of really puffy in the bag. It looks like it was very brightly colored at some point. You have no idea how old it is.
I'm going to grab it and pass it to Kuro.
The lettering on the side on the of the bag is in Dwarvish. It just proclaims it as rock candy.
It's rock candy.
I'll eat it. Okay, I eat some.
Okay. Are you trying to bite it, or are you just suckering this?
I'm suckering this if they're telling me it's rock candy.
You, after you get it in your mouth, you definitely think that's for the best. As just the tiniest little bite on it, it feels like rock. Much like an everlasting gobstopper, that thing will be around for a while. And as you're kind of sucking on it, you get this weird sense suddenly.
Oh god.
You know,
Okay.
you know how deep you are underground right now. Exactly how deep.
Whoa.
Like, and these walls around here, these are definitely dwarven made walls. Nobody does stone jointing like the dwarves. That archway, pure, classic dwarf.
Can I read the stuff the writing?
Giving it a quick glance around, you find that you can. You don't recognize why, and you couldn't for the life of you tell you what the alphabet was, but the words do make sense.
I think I'm part dwarf now.
There were worse creatures to be part. So
I will save the rest of my candy for later.
Okay.
How deep are we?
Roughly, hold on, about 700 or so, this is again going to be not the UK measurement, sorry, 700 or so feet underground, you would
that's
guess?
right. We do feet.
Okay. I'm never sure. I don't know anything. What does your milk come in?
Pints.
Okay.
Candy.
Okay.
So could you like off topic, could you order a pint of milk at like a bar? Would that
Yes.
be
Yeah.
okay, cool.
We drink pints.
I
of
tell
beer.
them exactly how deep we are.
Pints is 568 mil.
And you are roughly 700 feet underground, according to Kuro.
You know we're going to ask that all the time now. How
And
deep?
every time you ask, I get to eat more candy. This is
How
not
much-
a problem.
How much candy is there?
There appears to be about 25, now 24 pieces in the bag.
Oh, it's
Okay,
decent.
let me write that down.
One for each
That's-
level.
Yeah. That's 24 levels down.
I am not sharing.
Well, dang. 24 levels. Nice. So, as you all spend a little bit of time in the cold room, after you get done investigating in there and find yourselves still in the same hallway, do you think you're investigating where you know probably a dead spider in a bedroom to be, in where you've heard tell of some rust monsters?
Are we keen on using our new explosives right away, or our new stuff right away, or
How long would you say we investigated the cold room?
Maybe 10, 15 minutes of kind of just checking over everything, reading all the different labels carefully.
So I've still got 45 minutes of comprehend languages. Is there any writing on the door?
On the door to there. Looking at it, yes, you can see that across the top of this in Dwarvish is the words, which you can too, Kuro, is the words Festival Hall.
I point, I says, that says festival hall.
How did you know that?
I'm part dwarf now.
Is that all it takes? Just eating rocks?
I guess.
I love that it's canon that dwarves eat rocks. That's possibly the
Yeah.
best part.
As soon as you two eat a rock, you become dwarf. You should probably keep your eye out for good, yummy looking rocks.
I'm fine being non-dwarf.
Yeah, what does that say? I point up at the writing.
Festival hall.
Can't read it. Okay.
I've got see invisibility up for an hour as well.
All right.
So, can I peer through the door? Is there any gap in the door, or is it a solid door?
There is a set of keyholes on either door. You could look through those if you wanted.
I will do that.
All right, go ahead and give me a perception check.
It is a 17.
Okay. Glancing into this room, you can actually see the rust monsters that were spoken of, as they are currently tussling in the middle of the room over a singular, very nearly gone rusted iron helmet. They appear to be trying to just get it off of each other so that the other one can finish consuming it. You can also see that there's some sort of stairway further in and a hallway.
There's 2 rust monsters about 30, 40 feet back, fighting over an iron helmet.
Do we want to just let them keep at it? See if they
There's
kill each other?
I say we explore the other bit first.
there is a stairway and some a corridor moving further on. You could go down first.
Sure.
Down first, and then
It might be worth having a fight before we take any of our equipment is damaged by the rust monsters. Wise.
Good point.
Okay. Wandering back down towards that room. Double check where you are. Awesome. You are looking at a narrow kind of pathway inside of this room where between dead spiders and fallen chandeliers there are more bits of burnt spider web and such. You can see that the 2 iron chandeliers definitely fell at some point or another on top of the giant dead spider long before it burned. This chaos occurred previous to your arrival to here. You also see towards the back of the room what appears to be an old bedchamber. There's a dead giant spider. You can see that it is very scorched by fire, but you're fairly certain the massive amount of arrows sticking out of it are what was its actual end before its body was merely consumed. It is laying next to a broken wooden bed against the eastern wall. You can see against the south wall there is a wooden arm wire draped in cobwebs.
The cobwebs aren't burnt?
It's a little crispy down there, but there was a door here, so it stopped a little bit of the fire
I see.
coming in. The door is mostly burnt.
I say we investigate.
I think
I'm
so.
with you.
So on the way back, we should grab these chandeliers to lob at the rust monsters. It may keep them occupied.
Sure.
If you want to try and pick them up, be my friend, be my guest.
Oh, I thought we were already friends then, Taurus.
Just because I cooked you breakfast in the morning doesn't make us friends.
Well, that is a shame. I will have to work harder.
Right. Who wants to do the searching?
I can help.
All right. You can make an
I'll look for traps.
All right, go ahead and make an investigation check.
14.
Looking around, you don't see anything that appears to be trapped. The arm wire itself, you pay a little bit of special close attention to because it is an oddly shut container inside of a dungeon, which is rare. Looking at it, it's just a big old dusty arm wire. You can see that the outside lock hasn't been clipped over, so it isn't locked or anything. You don't see anything around it or near it that appears to be a trap.
Hmm. Okay. Can I? It's like ajar already, or
Not
it's just not locked.
just not locked. The doors
Okay.
are seemingly pulled shut.
Hey, does Jeb want to open this?
I'll ask him. Yeah, he said he's fine with it.
Nice. Oh, back up.
We'll just traumatize the octopus.
He's already traumatized.
I made him swim through a lake of sewage.
It's true.
Everything's easy after that.
Well, with that bit of Stockholm syndrome, Jebediah heads down to the wire and reaches up his little octopus tentacles and opens it up. And to his vision, it's a very strange upward view, but to the rest of you, also easy to see from a more straight-on point of view. There are the skeletal remains of what is either a halfling or somebody of significantly shorter stature, trapped seemingly inside by maybe that giant spider out there. It is skeletal, still has a chain shirt on over top of the curled up skeletal form, and you can just see the glint of a silvery ring on one of the bony fingers.
And it still has its skull. We could take that.
It does still have its skull.
Me to detect magic on that ring.
If you detect magic, I can do a ritual to identify anything we find to save on using up any of our power.
Very well. I will. It'll take me roughly 10 minutes.
Alright. Well, in that 10 minutes, Kuro, you also managed to find, in amongst the other things around the skeleton, a explorer's pack, minus the food and rations.
Do we need this? We haven't used much exploring supplies quite yet. I don't want to. This is going against everything I do as a video games player. I don't want to just take everything.
Just keep shoving
I
it in the
would
bag.
say we leave it here. We know where it is if we need it. We can come back to it. Like a little drop-off point. If we, get desperate, we know where there is at least could be something.
That's true.
Yeah.
I'd like to search the bed.
Okay. Go ahead and make an investigation check.
12.
Okay. It appears to be mostly moldy blankets, pillows, kind of dry rotted odds and ends. You do find a singular small pillow roughly the size of a bed, one that doesn't appear to be dry rotted. It actually looks pretty clean for what's around it.
Say what I found again?
A pillow that is much cleaner than the dry rotted mildewed ones around it.
Wonderful.
All right, and after your 10 minutes, you are able to find out, Nurgen, that is most definitely a ring of swimming.
Interesting.
Ring of swimming. Not useful to save his life, but maybe useful further down the road.
If we tie this in with my flute of summoning random aquatic beings,
Sensing a theme.
we'd be unstoppable.
At the very least, it's a magic item we can sell.
Yes.
I'm assuming we give it to Nentaris then?
I'm fine with that.
I will remove it from the halfling and I'm sorry for this, and I'm also sorry for this, and then I'm just gonna rip his head off.
It pops off without too much of a problem. It is a very old halfling skeleton, and you are a bugbear. So it just off, and you just have a about palm-sized halfling skull.
Do you mind carrying them in your bag of colding?
I don't want to put that near the food. Do we have to? Is there no, you could, I have some rope. You can start like a keychain like they have, maybe?
Fine. I will. That pack you found. Does it have any rope in it?
An explorer's kit, I
What's in an
feel like
explorer's
should.
kit?
I will take a length of that rope and tie it around my chest and thread a skull onto it and tie a knot on it.
All right.
Apparently, Nergin the Mad is going to look a bit mad.
When in Rome.
Yeah.
Well, having added to your new skull repertoire here and leaving behind a headless skeleton in an armoire to surely freak out some adventuring party down the road, you find yourself with mostly just a pillow and a skull. A lot of dead spiders. A lot of burnt things.
I'm going to go and heft those 2 chandeliers. Hopefully, they're not too heavy.
No. They are both made of iron, but you are a bugbear, so without too much problem, you can hoist them up as long as you're not trying to do anything else right at that moment.
I've got a strength of 18.
Yeah, you should be fine. I know your carrying weight is strunk.
Oh, yeah, that's true as well.
So, you pick up the 2 large iron chandeliers, and it looks like you all are headed where you know some rust monsters to be.
Open the door, throw the chandeliers, fire lots of spells.
We could, or how far do you think you could throw those?
How far do I think I could throw them?
Well, I suppose that would depend upon some sort of an athletics check.
It would, wouldn't it?
Because if
Probably.
you throw them in like the corner over away from the stairs, then maybe we could just kind of sneak around behind them, and then we don't have to use any spells or any weapons, and they
If
get a nice tasty treat.
if anyone has a knowledge arcana or anything they feel might be related to rust monster type knowledge, you could also make a check right now if you'd like to.
I will do so.
Do so as well.
24.
All right.
7.
Nintaris, you're not entirely sure what they are, to be honest. You've heard of them, definitely. You know they involve rust.
And monster.
It's true. Nergin, you know that rust monsters are extremely invested and hungry usually for finding metal. They do not care about attacking things unless those things have more metal than something else that they have access to.
Girl, you may be right, actually. If I can... They will probably go for the metal that is easier and closer to them, rather than trying to get us if we move past.
Well, do we want to give that a shot then? If they don't immediately run for the snacks, then
Ooh, ooh.
we
I've
try
got-
something else.
I've got to do a thing when I finish a long rest. 1 second. Amazing. I've got to roll my portent dice. I have now rolled my portent dice.
All right.
Let me write them down. So, open the door. I'll throw and hopefully we can skirt around the edge and avoid the fight.
Sounds good to me.
I'm going to start kind of swinging these 2 chandeliers a bit
Okay.
and getting them ready to lob.
All right. Who's opening the door for you?
I'll do it.
All right. So as Kuro goes over and gives the door a wide swing open, moving back, so hopefully she doesn't get hit by the giant flailing, chandelier situation happening. You go to chuck them in. Would you like to make an athletics check?
Do I use the really nice portent die I just rolled? No. 17.
Not too bad at all. You managed to just get a couple of them. Where are you aiming for? Like inside the doorway?
I'd be aiming for here-ish, like down.
You got it.
Yeah.
No problem. Immediately, as soon as the door opens, you see both of them look over towards you, but as that piece of metal flies through the air and lands over there, clanging with the other one, you watch as they both leap on it, and you hear a sound that you haven't heard before, which sounds like metal teeth breaking into iron as they start chewing on this thing. You get the feeling they're going to be busy for at least 12 rounds. You probably have all the time in the world to go wherever you wish.
Shall we?
Shall.
Okay.
We'll skirt round the room.
Are we taking the stairs or the hallway?
Can we see up the stairs?
Glancing up the stairs, you can see that there are roughly, let's see here, I have a map, hold on. There we are. As you glance up the stairs, you can see that there is a larger opened room down the hallway ahead of you, as well as 2 hallways that extend outwards.
Was the drow this way?
You think so?
Is this first north or second north?
Second north.
This
This
is
is
second
second
north.
Okay.
Goblin directions. Great.
Drow?
Loot.
Let's go.
All right. You can see that there are 4 different doors in this hallway. How you choose to deal with that is up to you.
I'll go listen at one of them.
Okay.
I'll go listen to a different one.
Okay. Giving a listen at both of them. Kuro, at yours, go ahead and give me a perception check. Nintaris, are you listening at the door or are you having Jebediah do the thing? Just checking
I'm
so I
gonna
know
have
what I'm doing.
Jebediah do the thing and look through his eyes.
Okay. If you want to go ahead and make a perception check for him as well.
I got a 23.
Very nice. You hear at least 4 different voices gibbering what appears to be absolute nonsense at each other from 4 different areas of the room beyond you. It kind of echoes around in there, so it sounds like it's probably a much larger room. You're not quite sure what language, if any of these things are speaking. It doesn't sound like a language that you've ever heard before. And then, occasionally, breaks of common, little words here and there.
Jebediah got a natural 20 for a 21 in total.
I'm so
Very
proud of
nice.
him.
Jebediah pokes his head up under, and looking in, he sees, quite the scene to the situation. Thankfully, with a back to him, Dark Elf is sitting on the end of a bed, cross-legged, seeming to be meditating. He can just make out that there is a little bit of a hallway past that Dark Elf, and crossing back and forth in that room, he sees what appears to be something that reminds him of giant rats, but is a little more humanoid. Appear to be walking on 2 legs.
Ratskins.
Based on that description, and since you're looking through his eyes and Antares, if you'd like to make me an Arcana check, you might know what these are.
15.
Description sounds an awful lot like were-rats.
Fun.
Guys.
What?
I found the drow. And Were-rats.
Were rats?
They're rats.
Do we want to? The goblins didn't say anything about the drow except they told him to get lost.
I said he seems like a tough guy and told them to get lost.
I mean, we could. Well, I suppose if we want his stuff, knocking on the door probably won't help us and getting him to let us in. Do we want to mess with were rats?
Do we explore the rest of it first?
That might be a good idea.
That might alert him to us. And
Not
also,
if we're quiet.
Are we just going to attack him without knowing anything else?
It looked like he was meditating.
We can't kill a monk.
I mean,
I say we explore. We know where he is.
very well. If it is all right, go ahead. I need 1 minute.
Why?
I wish to well, I wish to use my book here to be a bit more prepared for a potential fight. And I gesture to the big fancy book that's hanging from my waist.
Fine.
All right. I go listen at the next door.
Okay. Utilizing the same, just couple of perception checks real quick, there is not a sound coming from the room that you are standing at, Kuro. It is pretty quiet in there. I assume Jebediah is going back under a door.
Yep.
Glancing into here, there is what appears to be a dusty throne room. Much of the room collapsed long ago by the layer of dust on it. There are footprints left in kind of humanoid-esque form, but you can see little claws next to where Jebediah's little head is coming out. And there's a plain stone throne standing against the south wall.
I found a throne room.
We love a throne room. Is there stuff in there?
I don't know. I tried the door.
The door swings open pretty loosely with a slight bit of a creak to it.
Jebediah, you're gonna go trap finding.
Trap finding octopus. That will be an investigation check for Jebediah if he is searching for traps.
That's intelligence based. That's a dirty 20.
Very nice.
He's just killing it out here.
Right? Jebediah, the best adventurer of us all. Who knew? He does have an advantage on the arms. Glancing around inside of this room, it is, as I said, mostly collapsed. You don't see any traps anywhere. None of the floor pieces appear to be false tiles that would break in or do anything major. The throne itself doesn't look particularly trapped. There's no wires, no extra gears sticking out of anywhere. You do note that while it might not be a trap, it looks like the seat of the throne could be raised.
For a short king.
More like on a hinge, but I like the booster
Oh.
seat for a king. The official booster seat you bring out.
The seat of the throne, the seat lifts up. Do you want me to get Jebediah to lift it up?
If he's willing.
Jebediah, do you want to do it? Yes, he does. It's
Would
wonderful
you-
like that.
Would you like to make Jebediah a athletics check?
Yeah, more than happy to.
What if
That's
it's just a
six.
toilet? Just like
Minus
a literal
4.
throne.
So that's 2.
Very nice. You definitely watch as there's a bit of a struggle. You're not sure that octopuses were meant to really lift entire slabs of stone outside of the water while holding themselves in a bucket. It's a little wobbly. It's not working out super well at the moment.
I'll go give him a hand.
All right. Well, he can either roll with advantage or you can make an athletics check yourself.
I'll make an athletics check. Not that I'm much better than he is. Oh no, apparently so that's a natural 20 plus 1 for 21.
All
You're
right.
on the natural 20s today, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. Which makes up for the last D&D game I had where it was straight 1s and 2s.
The whole time. So, as you raise this up, showing off your strength to Jebediah, who feels weak in comparison,
Flex on him.
right? Looking down in this thing, you see what appears to be a kind of a rod or maybe a scepter of some sort. It's a large snake head, sort of cobra shaped. There are little eyeballs made of maybe rubies set into the sides of this hood, and it appears to be at least plated, if not made of gold.
Take it out and have a look at it.
Okay. It is, are you looking for magical type things, or are you looking
Are
at
we still within the
designs?
hour?
Can be.
Because if we're still within the hour of when I cast Comprehend Languages, then I'd be looking for any writing on it.
Okay, go ahead and make me an investigation check to look for any sort of tiny writing not apparently visible.
Dirty 20.
All right. There is definitely some writing there, and you get the feeling that you really wouldn't be able to comprehend it normally. You have no idea what language this is, but it's very serpentine in its writing, and it reads very, very cold. But you get the idea that this scepter belonged to a queen. The name isn't something you feel like you could pronounce. There are so many S's in it, it wouldn't quite make sense coming out of your mouth. It appears to have some sort of, if not warning, kind of a commentary about poison on it.
Kuro,
Mm-hmm.
I found something.
I will come look at it.
Does this ring any bells to you? And I hold up the Cobra Scepter. It says something on there about poison, like commentary about it, and I think it was owned by a queen. It was found in the throne.
I mean, if it's something about poison, I probably don't want to be touching it, yeah? But
I'm touching
hey,
it.
do
I'm
you?
fine.
Love that for you. Do I know anything about this?
You could make a history check if you'd like to with that information.
17?
Taking a glance at it, this says to you probably ancient, not artifact in the magical sense, but artifact in the archaeological sense, from a Yuan-Ti temple, if you had to take a wild guess. It seems very serpentine, and the name of the queen specifically reminds you of, again, one you don't think you'd be able to pronounce, but a fairly infamous Yuan-Ti queen that was said to have fled to Chult at the end of her rule.
It's giving Yuan-Ti. I think this queen ran away to Chult or something, if I'm remembering correctly. So she's probably not going to want this back. Or she's probably not coming back for it. Is it magic? That could be good news for us. Or for our bank accounts.
I don't know if it is. I can take 10 minutes to find out if it is.
Or if we toss it in the bag and everything we find today, we can look at it once.
We can do it when we go to bed.
Yeah.
I'll throw it in the bag of holding.
I'm assuming it's been more than a minute. Nurgin has taken the book off his waist and opened it a few times and kind of to various different pages and read stuff. And I have used a charge and swapped a couple of spells around.
Amazing.
And then I'm going to wander up.
Okay.
Anything interesting?
Throne room.
The other door has, I didn't try it, but there's no noise coming from in there.
Is there a door here as well?
No, if you wander a little bit further down there, you can see that it, much like the inside of the throne room, has collapsed off to one side.
Okay.
Is this door locked by me?
It does not appear
I'm just
to be,
like, I'm not trying to open it. I'm just like pressing the handle down.
it does not appear to be locked in any way.
Okay. I'll push it open and then like take a step back in case there's a trap.
Okay. Pushing it open, you find yourself looking in a very small, collapsed room. You get the feeling it was probably much
Oh.
bigger at one point. There's a lot of rubble against the back wall. If it still leads anywhere, you don't see any openings in here. Nothing of apparent value floating around, but lots of odds and ends and bodies, and at least probably one adventuring party that slept in here overnight, judging by the campfires and things like that around.
Or bodies? We want to search them?
They're mostly skeletal. It appears like whoever was in here last kind of stashed them all in the corner of the room, just much like you did with the spiders in an earlier room in order to make a sleeping area.
Ah, so they're probably picked over.
Are there
Well, more
skulls?
skulls if you want them.
I was about to say.
There are skulls in this room.
I will take these skulls and thread them onto my rope.
All right, your rope is roughly 8 skulls long now.
I have to keep a tally of these.
Do we go and speak to the drow, or do we try mystery door number 3?
The other door has stuff speaking in there, but like gibberish speaking. Like it doesn't make any sense. But sometimes it's common, but most of the time, I don't know what it is.
I could have a listen.
Be my guest?
Would that be perception, Katie?
Yes, it would.
22. And if comprehend languages is still up, I can understand
Okay,
verbal.
let's see here. All right, you do understand what it is saying, and you're not super familiar with the language, but it has enough tinges of goblin and elven to make you understand that it is undercommon. And they appear to be speaking absolute nonsense at one another from in there. Seems whatever's on the other side of that door is a little mad. Not angry, but a little mad. Not connected with reality by the sounds of it.
They're mad, and they speak undercommon.
Mad.
You're bad.
I'm mad.
You're mad. Go speak to them. They could be family.
I'm not mad in that sense. It was a name given for reasons. But are we wanting to go into a potential combat with the drow still on the other side of us? If not, what are we do? Why are we here? What are we doing with the drow? Why are we planning to murder a drow?
No, I wasn't planning on murdering them. But did you? Are you trying to steal their skull?
No, only.
Is that why you lured us up here?
I am only taking skulls of convenience.
Skulls.
So you're trying to get us to get the skull for you, I see.
I do not mind how the skulls are retained. I am merely making good on a promise I made to some kin. What do we wish from the drow? If we're talking to them, what are we talking to them about?
The dungeon?
We're seeking information.
Yes.
Hello, we
Sure.
have invaded your home. Tell us stuff.
Well, we can
No.
knock on the door, so then we're not invading. So you have now opened the door to us. Tell us things,
Invite us in.
please.
We have food and tea.
If you don't want to talk to the drow at all, I don't see why we'd need to, but
The point was to come up and see the drow for loot reasons, and I was just wondering what the plan was to get said loot.
As you are all standing vaguely outside of this door, paying attention to the outside of it, I assume, you do note that there is a very faded mural on each of these doors, and on this particular door, the mural is a dark mantle, which is a type of underground creature that looks a bit like a manta ray, but tends to float its way through the Underdark. And it appears to be descending on an unsuspecting dwarf admiring a gleaming gemstone. It's a lovely painting. Looks a little dark.
Interesting.
well, if we don't want to bother the drow, do we want to see who's talking in this over here? Since do you think you'd have better luck as a madman among madmen?
Happy to try, but I do not speak Undercommon though.
Oh. Do we want to ask the drow if they do?
I respect the drow too. They do live.
Or we could ask them just that's something we could talk about. We'd be like, hey, there's a door over here, and we're kind of curious what's in it. Do you know what's in it? And we're not breaking or entering. We are asking nicely.
That is look, Kuro. I am not saying that it is a bad idea to talk to the drow. I was just simply wondering what the process we were attempting to get said loot from said drow.
Well, you've been traveling with us for long enough. You know, we don't plan things. We just kind of go and do. And then an octopus is suddenly here in a bucket, and now
Look
we're
at his
here.
rain cloud. It's adorable.
Yeah. We've got a balloon friend following us everywhere. It's just stuff just happens, and we just do stuff.
Yes,
keep
someone
going.
listening in on everything we are saying. Very reassuring.
Yes, Jebediah is always here.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, look, don't let me stop you. You do talk to this drow. In fact, let me help, and I'm going to bang on the door with my glaive and then step back around the corner.
All right.
Jebediah, it's on you.
It's on you. Opens the door, looks down. There is a brief moment of silence and sounds of slight surprise. You hear the scuffling from the other room go quiet, and then you hear a very deep male voice say from the room, "Yes, come in." And that's where we'll pick back up next week.
Good start.
Apparently, Nurgin can be childish.